What's going on, family? It's David Mensa here with Light Power. Shine so someone can see you. Yes, you can shine too. And in today's video, well, as you know, today's Friday. This is Free Mind Friday. This video is going to be explaining an open perspective on black people, black spirituality, and the manipulation of black people. When I use the term black people, I'm really referring to anybody of African descent, no matter what type of African descent. Doesn't matter the amount of melanin you have in your body, as long as you're black. This is the message that we're talking about. This message goes through pretty much everything that I've had to really come out of from my own personal growth. And being able to look back and take notes and research and study about the things that I've recently overcome for myself shows where exactly the entire community and the entire culture of black people will have to pass through at some point in time. So this video is, we document life as this time. This is just what we're going through. So we're really gonna just start with perspective, because this is where all of the poisons have been added, if I might say. So to get started, right, most black people, most Africans like myself from Ghana, we are born in families that really love God because we are of God, God's children, right? As we've been able to grow, we've been actually taught and trained to worship God in an image that has been maneuvered from the Egyptian time frame. So before we have the United States society, or America as we know it, we have to understand that the images that we have been shown have been taken and re-represented to us. So what does this mean? This means that when a black person is sitting in class and they are learning history, let's say, and they're learning about somebody like Christopher Columbus, the ability to find interest in something that does not reflect you is nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. Nobody's going to really want to know about something else that's not them. So let me explain that this life experience, or this life journey, is us reuniting ourselves with God in the term of realization, not necessarily of acquiring or getting closer to. God has always been a part of us. The kingdom of heaven is within. This is what the Bible explains. I didn't make that verse, but that's what I'm trying to illustrate to you, is that although the Bible has truths, most of the information in the Bible is used on a day-to-day basis, whether you've read it or not. As long as you have a good, clean heart, you're normally going according to some of these verses. That's fine. But what's not okay is the image portrayed in the minds of men. And this is why we're going to get started. So the psychology, right? You're learning something that does not reflect who you are to you. How are you going to get a good grip of it? You're not. How? It's not really possible. You could create fantasies and different types of stories to keep yourself engaged. We have all of our Africans looking at an image of a white male figure as God, right? The issue comes psychologically, because if you're referring to a higher power separate and different from you, where are you going to get the bonding of you and the higher power together if it doesn't look like you, it doesn't show nothing of you, it doesn't have no aspects or characteristics of you, and it's really demeaning. It's really demeaning. If you don't understand psychology, then you're not understanding the image in mind that's represented from this white picture. So let me just go ahead and say God is not a white man. Let me go ahead and say that. And I'm not going to say Jesus is not real, because the essence of Jesus is real, which is consciousness. And that's how they use the story to personify consciousness. And that's the reason why Jesus gave his life for everyone. That's the reason why Jesus walked around healing and transforming people's lives, because that's what consciousness does. Turns everything on. So that's how we're going to start. We're not seeing ourselves in what we're learning. That's the first psychological fall that we're creating for ourselves. Number two, right? We all have a default perspective that God is a male figure, which is wrong. Not necessarily incorrect, but it's necessarily wrong. It's necessary because we know God, and we know that God is whole, not necessarily half of anything. So how can you have male without female? This is the law of duality, which the entire universe falls under. So how can God put the whole world in order but not be in order itself. That doesn't make no sense. So we have to understand that God also has a feminine aspect, but since we've been looking at this through the lens of a white Caucasian, that's the only reason why we see God to be a man only and man first. So how do you think that is going to play in the psychology of women when women don't believe that they are a part of God or a part of the sequence that God has created or even going with? You'll never get the understanding because nobody's going to tell you. So to jump onto that a little bit further, women are closer to God than men because God has something called order instilled. And order means the sequence and the process by which things happen. And no man has ever produced a woman ever by himself. Ever. Never. Never ever. Only in the Bible when Adam's ribs gets removed and God makes Eve out of that. But you have to understand the wordplay. So we'll go into that in a little bit later. But understand that never ever has a man produced a child by himself. A woman is always the person who creates and births a child into this universe. And if anybody should be thinking, oh, the bones of my bones and the flesh of my flesh, it should be women. Because when they're holding their child, what types of thoughts do you think they're going to have? Okay, just remember that the Bible actually only explicitly shows that Adam had those feelings. So let's continue. This is showing us the patrilineal perspective because they're deciding for you. Like, this is what it is. If somebody tells you, hey, choose between one of these, you have to know that they are owning the option to choose. So, like, there could be other things to choose not presented. You know, like, that's what we have to understand is, like, they've given us the story in such a way that it has destroyed our family. And we don't even know that it's being destroyed right now. So let's continue. Just went over the fact that women have to go through the psychology of realizing that they're not a part of God in the sequence. Know that the Holy Trinity, as the Bible states, is Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit. There's no women here. Oh, the Holy Spirit. You don't even know if it's a female or not. All the women in the Bible have negative connotations and negative stories surrounded around them. So we have to understand that. Like, we have to understand that. Look at it. Women are part of everything nature does. Every single thing. Mother Earth. Like, we have instilled women inside of everything. And now, in the story, for African people, who are the most, I would say, the most loving people, we're going to love without her. In the story, at least. And then, as we absorb that story into our subconscious, when we realize that, oh, Eve ate the apple, that's why the whole world's fucked up, right? Okay, now we have a subconscious event that has been stored in our minds from this book that tells us that women have become the problem for us. And now we have a mindset where it's like, I don't need no bitch. I just pulled those words from the media. That's the words that they have instilled in songs. Bitches ain't shit. This is what they have instilled in songs so that the male's mindset could look over the essence of the feminine and see what's not there. Bitches ain't shit. Oh, you think it's just that easy? Oh, I'm sorry, it gets worse. It gets worse. Because in the mind of a female now, I don't need no nigga. Like, they are literally choosing how we live by illustrating us stories. Straight facts. Like, that's all you need. What is the name of Christianity in any African dialect? I'll wait for that one. If Christianity had a label for itself in an African dialect, I will understand why we are using it and practicing it right now while we know English. Let me know the name of where your parents are from outside of the English language. Like, we using the English language to even name our homes, let alone ourselves. So we have to understand that we are using a perspective to see. The perspective is Christianity, except it's Christianity from the eyes of a white Caucasian. Because I really firmly believe that as black people, we have an innate ability to love and also move as a collective. Because if you truly understand the laws of the universe and you start asking questions like, what's 1 + 1? A normal-minded person stuck in a Caucasian enslavement will default answer 2, always. And you might think I'm crazy for a second, but I'm going to explain to you. If 1 + 1 are in unity, they become a bigger set of 1. Yes, there's 2 involved, but they are still 1. So when we realize that we, as black people, are one, then we'll realize that we've won. We've already won because we are one. I don't know why they put. It's like you have to read. You have to read. But anyway, continuing. So we just realized how we're being psychologically enslaved and bamboozled through the expression of Christianity through the Caucasian's mindset using the text of the Holy Bible or the Helios Biblios, which in other words is the Sun Book. So we have a clear understanding of why this is the way it is right now. So what can we do about this to transform and change it? Well, from my perspective, we have to learn about our own ethnicity from the perspective of ourselves. And that's hard to do because we don't have no text. And since we're so used to reading and taking information from other things, we're not able to tap in. We're not able to tap in as a group and become that one because we don't know what it feels like no more. We have to start getting closer to nature and experiencing nature, experiencing grounding. But let's continue with the spirituality conversation because I'm not done yet. So we just talked about how women are kind of told that they are no place inside of the entire Holy Trinity for nothing. They are the ones who've caused all the problems in the entire world. Okay, so now let's move into the physicality of this person in their psyche. Now, right, if you look at the television for a second, I don't watch TV. If you look at the television for a second, you might see women being presented, right? But the way that these women will be presented will never, I'm just going to let you know right now, as long as we're underneath this type of perspective of control, I'm going to say it like this. Women will never be presented in the sense of total naturality. It just won't happen. Why? Because they make money when you buy weave. They make money when you do your hair because they're showing you what they want you to do. They make money when you buy makeup and put all these chemicals inside of your system. You think that you just put it on your face and gonna wipe it off, but you don't understand that the skin is the largest organ because you didn't spend time studying yourself. So if you're putting all this makeup on, you're caking up every day, and you're not using anything that's, I would say, non-toxic, you are literally filling up your bloodstream with chemicals. And then on top of that, you are not able to see yourself through your own perspective, so you're forced to keep looking at yourself in a certain way. That's like this. That's like somebody coming into this house right now and be like, yo, David, what's up? I really like you. You're a really cool guy, but I need you to cut your hair. It doesn't look right. What is a look? What is a look? What is a look? What is a true look? Don't let them fool you. I'm trying to tell you, like the social media, the television, TV shows, movies, etc. are using the images to re-represent who we are to ourselves, and we are learning. We are learning because when we see that all the girls are paying attention to her because she's so fly and she got this nice frontal on and she got these waves going, she got the Brazilian wave going, we are going to be like, girl, if you don't get some Brazilian wave, you're not it. And that's exactly how it starts. They've taught us to train ourselves to look like them. Let me ask you this. The same thing goes for men. Because in my perspective, my own life, I've grown up loving big booties, okay? And I'm not going to be like, oh, this is supposed to be a nice... I love big booties. But that's because I've been taught and trained to love big booties. And now I'm taught and training myself to aspire to understand someone's thought more than their physicality, to understand someone's character more than the essence of physical nature that they have. Because that lasts so much longer, it actually never exits. Like it never ceases. The beauty in love of the self or your knowledge or your intellect never goes away. So I've been changing myself. But what types of images was I shown as a kid? You know what I'm saying? I was shown the same type of images that everybody's showing right now. Like, you're going to see a big booty somewhere and you're going to like the way it jiggles. Somehow, like, they got this thing working. They got this thing working. And guess what? Most of the women that reflect those images probably won't be good for your mental health as a man. Why? Because they probably didn't have the right type of training either. Not to say that you'll never find a woman that has the right type of training and it's everything that you like. I believe you can find anything you want to see. But what I'm really saying is the psychology and the perspective that we use to grow has been given to us. If we are not checking this, then we are losing and we are training the next generation to lose. That's exactly what I'm saying. So let's continue. We just talked about religion. We talked about physicality and how that affects the psychology of people in general. And now we also want to talk about food. Because I'm telling you right now, my dad has given me hell just about what I eat, what I choose to eat. And every single time, my dad's still indoctrinated. Every single time he talks to me about this, he references how the Bible mentions that God gave us animals. God gave us dominion over the animals, right? So if God gave us dominion over the animals, right, what is dominion? Okay? Does dominion mean just chop down whatever you want and build whatever you need? Or does dominion mean take care, respect, responsible? What is dominion? Authority figure. What is that? You know, does that mean you just walk around peeing on the ground, take a shit wherever you feel like because you have dominion over this place? That makes no fucking sense. How about your body? What does your body say? What does your body say when you eat meat? Your body says mucus, 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 mucus. And what happens when you get all that mucus? Well, that mucus stores up in your system, and whatever artery or whichever organ is suffering due to the overload of mucus, that's where the disease normally accumulates first. So what we have to understand is that we have also been trained and taught to eat outside of our physical nature. Our bodies don't want what we give it, but our tongues do. Our tongues do like it. So, M&M's, Snickers, trick or treat. What you mean? The body doesn't want that stuff. The body doesn't want that. The body wants moisture. The body wants oxygen. And oxygen comes from organic and original fruit. And also the air. And also what you drink. So why should you be drinking a heavily loaded sugary drink? Well, that's because you've been brainwashed, indoctrinated, and trained. So when we're talking about the manipulation of the African person, we're talking about actually being confused outside of who you actually are, so far away that you're eating things you shouldn't be eating, and you think you're supposed to because it tastes good, because you're listening to your physical body and not your spiritual nature. So what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about it? I'm not going to be watching and waiting and hoping for Jesus to come. Let me tell you right now. Let me tell you right now. Because if they've given us a story, they've given us a plan of action. This plan of action leads us into disease, into turmoil, into poverty, in our state of mind, and in our physical health. Fuck them. I don't have nothing else for them. Fuck them. Straight away. No bullshit. Nothing else. What you want? Don't ask me for it. But anyway, let's continue. I'm getting a little bit heated. It's getting a little hot. Those are three things. Food, psychology, religion, spirituality. We are God in the sense. Because we are God's children. When we come together, we are bringing God together. Yes. But when we come together, we bring God together and we think God is a white man. That is called patrilineal intellect, brainwashing agendas of the elite. God is not stuck in the form of a man only. That doesn't make no sense. God creates both men and women. You've never seen a woman. Look, I'm telling you right now. They have stolen the family's essence by transforming the perspective of God into a white patrilineal male. So we think of God first from that essence. But I do want to let you know that black women have a foundational standpoint in the essence of God, far beyond men, because they create men. So we have to get that first understood. Black women were the same people who would take foreign objects in their bodies to protect the lives of the slaves around them. They would opt to get raped rather than us to get killed. They would carry us on their backs and feed us with whatever they had left. They would make sure that we ate before they did. So what are we really doing to our women? Church has the highest rate of single women. Missing identity, don't even know who God is, don't even know who they are for themselves, and they really do think Jesus is the one. This is ridiculously bullshit. And it's working real good. They got us by the book. And black people don't even read. This is great. Fucking awesome. I'm really getting heated. I'm really getting heated. I like the fire too, because that's my sign too. So, but those are some real serious things that we need to start influencing into the lives of our youth. Because if they don't know who they are, they're never going to be able to see themselves in anything. When I go to the beach, I see myself. When I go to the woods, I see myself. When I look at an animal, I see myself in a different form. There's still respect. There's still knowing that consciousness is more than just the mindset of a patrilineal male. Consciousness is beyond the extension of a human being. Consciousness is grass. And let me tell you this, we just talked about food. When have you ever seen any herbivore eating another herbivore? When have you ever shown... Herbivores don't eat nothing but grass or leaves or plants, right? So why do you think the cow gets fat? Why do you think the cow gets big hips and big thighs so that you have something to chew on? Why? Is it because they were eating other meat? Absolutely not. The grass is electric. It's connected to the roots. It's connected to the soil. It's charged electrically. What does hair look like when it's standing? It looks like black people's hair. This is standing up. So grass is very similar to this because it's alive, it's connected to a system, and it's running electricity through it. That's the reason why they chew that. And that's the reason why they chew it all day. And they walking around all day. So they're eating leaves and they're exercising and they become bulky. I don't see why we couldn't do that, especially if it's going to make sure that we're mucus free and free from disease. I don't see why. It don't make no fucking sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. So we have to understand that. And what does hair look like? I mean, what does hair look like when it's limp? It does not look like grass. So every time you see some hair and it's limp, you better know what you're looking at. You have to understand the essence of a human being. And the essence of a human being is an African person. An African person reflects the essence of melanin throughout their body. Through the skin, you can see the melanin. Through the hair, through the texture of the hair, through the curls in the hair. You can see through the iris in the eye. Like you can see the dark pigmentation of melanin, letting you know that you are connected to the source, connected to the creator. Why? Because when the sunlight is shining, it's exchanging electromagnetic frequency or radiation. And this radiation is absorbable by the melanin in the body. So black people don't get sunburn. Why? I just explained it. Because we have the ability to absorb the electromagnetic spectrum of the sun. What does this mean? This means that we are the children of the sun. And this is how they're going to start spinning it and pull you into Jesus. Because now the essence is truth. And how do you see it? By using your mind's eye, by using your true vision, by being able to see the details that nobody's talking about. You can't have a full cow if he's not eating grass. Actually, you can. Sorry. This is called manipulation. They have taken the cows, fed them corn, which is what they're not supposed to be eating on a daily basis. Due to the astronomy, or sorry, not the astronomy, due to the biology of their physical bodies, their digestive tract digests leaves. When you add other things like corn, then they start getting diseases, and now we're treating them for diseases while we're about to kill them, to eat them. So you're eating injected animals with so many different things. And why? Oh, because we're supposed to be eating meat, because meat gives you protein. Lies, 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 lies. Lies, lies, lies. I did a podcast on my podcast called The Conversation of Lies. You should definitely check that out. So yeah, how far else can we go with this? Like, I just wanted to drop some foundation so that we could start going into the research, start going into the history, and start going into each topic one by one and seeing how we can remedy all of these situations and create a new family space. Because without that, I'm trying to tell you right now, the way that the society is going, we have no chance in creating anything worth imagining if we don't even know the value with ourselves. I just wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, you could create something great. They'll give you some money for it, and then that'll be it. But where's the value going to live? Where's the value going to live? This is experiences. You take these experiences with you when you leave. So where's that value going to live? That's a great question to ask. But yeah, on this Free Mind Friday, I wanted to punch you on the mouth on this Free Mind Friday, allowing you to make sure that you're in charge of your own thoughts and realizing that we have been placed in a situation, in a way, a status that does not unify or amplify the essence of a black person, male or female. It does not do that. So this society is not going to be putting your crown on for you. You need to be able to realize the crown that lives within you and put that on. And with that being said, shine so someone can see you. Yes, you can shine too. And I'll talk to you again on the next video. Peace.